Thanks for joining us here on This Is Now. We start with a live look at the White House because Election Day is just 99 days away. Vice President Kamala Harris's campaign says it raised a record $200 million in the week after President Biden decided to step out from the race. And meanwhile, former President Trump is also sharpening his attacks. We begin with the political coverage with Nicole Scango, who has more from Washington, D.C.
With just about 3 months to Election Day, both Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump hit the campaign trail over the weekend.
We are going to win.
You're going to be crushed if you don't elect me.
It comes as a new poll shows that Harris has a higher favorability among voters than Trump, barely a week after she entered the race. The Harris campaign says it brought in $200 million in the first week of her candidacy. That's a new record. They're also touting signing up more than 170,000 new volunteers.
We are seeing on the ground a lot of enthusiasm and excitement.
Trump stepped up his attacks on Harris.
I'm running against a low IQ individual.
Kamala Harris's deadly destruction of America's borders is completely and totally disqualifying for her to be president.
Harris had this response.
Donald Trump has been resorting to some wild lies about my record, and some of what he and his running mate are saying, well, it's just plain weird.
Trump also stirred up some back and forth with this unusual plea to Christian conservatives Saturday.
Christians, get out and vote. Just this time. You won't have to do it anymore. 4 more years, you know what? It'll be fixed. It'll be fine. You won't have to vote anymore.
Republicans scrambled to explain.
I think he's obviously making a joke about how bad things have been under Joe Biden.
But the Harris campaign said Trump was signaling an end to democracy. Nicole Scango, CBS News, Washington.
President Biden has unveiled a trio of proposals that would change the way the U.S. Supreme Court works, including who can sit on the bench and for how long. Skylar Henry has more details from the White House.
President Biden unveiled plans Monday to dramatically change the way the Supreme Court operates. Biden is calling for stripping away lifetime appointments and enacting an 18-year term limit for the justices. That would set up a system where new justice would be needed every 2 years.
They have no desire to make the court better. They're just trying to make it more liberal.
President Biden also wants Congress to pass a tough new code of ethics requiring the disclosure of all major gifts and the justices to recuse themselves if they or their families are involved in the case.
The idea that wealthy individuals, many of them right-wing, can both pay for cases before the court and at the same time give justices gifts or trips is outrageous.
Neither proposal currently stands any chance of passing the Republican-controlled House or narrowly divided Senate.
The liberals in this country want to pack the court. They want to destroy the court. So their initiatives coming from Biden will be dead on arrival in the Senate.
President Biden is also calling on Congress to ratify a constitutional amendment prohibiting blanket immunity for presidents. It comes in response to the court ruling that former President Trump is largely immune from prosecution for his acts in office. While the White House isn't expecting to secure a new amendment on this politically charged issue, it hopes the conversation will energize Democratic voters.
A lot of this is, frankly, a reaction to Supreme Court decisions and behavior by some of the justices that are unpopular among Democrats.
Trump came out against the proposal, saying Biden is trying to destroy the Supreme Court. Skylar Henry, CBS News, the White House.
We now know which lawmakers will serve on a bipartisan task force to investigate the attempted assassination of former President Trump. On Monday, Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson and House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries announced the members who will serve. 7 Republicans and 6 Democrats will be on the House task force, which will have subpoena power. The GOP members will be Congressmen Mark Green, David Joyce, Laurel Lee, Michael Waltz, Clay Higgins, Pat Fallon, and Mike Kelly as chairman. The Democratic members will be Jason Crow, Lou Correa, Madeline Dean, Chrissy Holohan, Glenn Ivey, and Jared Moskowitz. The House voted last week to create the task force. The final report on its findings will be released December 13th. Back here at home, a manhunt is underway after 3 people were shot Sunday morning in Waipahu. Among the victims were a young woman and a teenage boy. Here's a look at the crime scene. Now, according to law enforcement sources, 4 people were in a vehicle on Leovaena Street a little after 1:30 Sunday morning when another group pulled up and a fight broke out. We're told a male suspect dragged a 24-year-old man out of the vehicle and hit him in the head with a glass bottle. When his friends tried to step in, sources say the suspect pulled out a handgun and opened fire. According to police records, a 17-year-old boy was shot, along with a 22-year-old man and a 23-year-old woman. We're told the victims are expected to survive. HPD has not yet released a description of the suspect. And in Manoa, a 43-year-old man faces charges of attempted murder after allegedly trying to flee the scene and hitting an officer with a stolen car. It happened on Sunday just after 5 a.m. The suspect was already wanted for stealing a vehicle. When officers tried to pull him over, he accelerated forward, sideswiped a parked vehicle, and drove through a residential gate until finally crashing into a garage. During the incident, an officer was injured and taken to a nearby hospital in good condition. The suspect was also hurt. He was treated and released into police custody. EMS says a 16-year-old boy is in serious condition after suffering from what appeared to be multiple stab wounds. HPD and EMS responded to Lanipa'a Street in Mililani just before 3 p.m. Saturday afternoon. Police say they have opened an attempted homicide investigation. Law enforcement sources tell us a 19-year-old was arrested in connection to this case. And an investigation is also underway after the body of a diver was recovered Saturday in Kahuku. Records show the 43-year-old man was found unresponsive around 8:30 Saturday night in waters off Wailea Beach Park. An autopsy is scheduled to determine exactly how he died. Now we look to Hawaii Island, where a decades-old murder mystery has been solved. Multiple sources confirmed to Hawaii News Now that the person responsible for the brutal attack of Dana Ireland on Christmas Eve 1991 has been identified through new DNA technology. Arlene Kawano broke the story over the weekend and has the details.
Multiple tests in recent months zeroed in on a Hawaiian Paradise Park man. But that man killed himself last week after he was ordered to do a cheek swab.
The man's name is not yet being released, but he lived within 2 miles of the fishing trail where Dana Ireland was found, brutally beaten on Christmas Eve in 1991. She died the next day. Ireland had been raped. Semen from her body, on her clothes, and on other items from the scene, plus more recently, sweat and skin DNA from a T-shirt at the scene, all pointed to one person, unknown male number 1. That person, a 57-year-old man, would have been 25 at the time of the crime. The Hawaii Innocence Project was crucial in identifying the man.
We sent the DNA that existed for unknown male number 1 to Steve Kramer, who's a person who headed up the capture of the Golden State Killer. Taking that DNA, he was able to go back to records back to the 1700s here in Hawaii that led all the way up to this individual suspect.
The Hawaii Innocence Project learned in February the lab identified a possible suspect. Police and the FBI started surveillance. The man was seen discarding a fork in public, and that fork was sent to the lab for more testing. On July 3rd, results confirmed a match. On July 19th, Hawaii police officers with a search warrant got a cheek swab from the man. Days later, last Tuesday, the man was found dead in his home, an apparent suicide. The next day, the DNA results from the cheek swab returned, showing a positive match.
He didn't spend a day in jail. Now, to me, if I know I murdered and raped this girl in this fashion, sent 3 people to be convicted, and the prison, 2 of them in prison for a lengthy amount of time, 1 died in prison, yeah, if I ever get caught, I'm going to take the easy way out.
3 men were wrongfully convicted of Dana Ireland's murder in the late 90s. A judge threw out the convictions for 2 of them, Albert Ian Schweitzer and Sean Schweitzer. The 3rd man, Frank Pauline, died in prison, serving time for Ireland's murder.
A hearing is scheduled for Tuesday to discuss the new developments in the case. I'm Lynn Kawano, Hawaii News Now.
And you can also watch back our chief investigative reporter Lynn Kawano's special, Who Killed Dana Ireland? That is available on our HNN website and your digital platforms. And now to Maui, where a man who found a way to surf despite having 4 amputations is asking the community for help after thieves made off with his prosthetic limbs. Our Eddie Dowd has this story.
Maui waterman Josh Bogle uses specialized prosthetic legs to surf. On Saturday morning, he discovered they had been stolen along with his vehicle and thousands of dollars worth of adaptive surfing equipment. Bogle says he had parked his SUV for the night at his home in Haiku Friday. When he woke up the next day, it was gone.
I discovered it as soon as I had woken up. My first thought wasn't somebody stole my car. I went, did I park it around the side? I was in disbelief, and then my stomach just fell out, and I went, oh my God, somebody just stole my car.
Bogle is well known in the parasurfing world and won a national title in 2021 at the USA Parasurfing Championship in California. His surfing prosthetics were inside his SUV. He says the Oahu-made devices cost tens of thousands of dollars and take months to make.
The gear in the car was probably worth more than the car. There's not too many double below-knee amputees running around, and even the adaptive hand paddles, the prosthetic hand paddles and things, anything that would come back would be great.
On Saturday, he took to social media, posting about his missing car and the items inside. By Sunday morning, Bogle says his SUV was spotted parked in Haiku, but when police came, everything was gone.
The car was found up behind Maui Jiu-Jitsu, up by the Haiku cannery, and it was parked in the back, left locked, completely cleaned out.
H&N reached out to Maui police about the investigation and is waiting to hear back. There's no word yet if police have suspects in the case or if any arrests have been made.
I want to thank everyone that's helped share this story. I mean, that's the reason the car's home.
A GoFundMe account has been set up for Bogle. A link can be found on our website. And again, these are what Bogle's specialized water prosthetics look like. Anyone with information can call Maui Crime Stoppers at 808-242-6966. Bogle says they can be returned, no questions asked. Eddie Dowd, Hawaii News Now.
In national news, the Biden administration announced a new lethal aid package for Ukraine Monday, totaling about $1.7 billion. The package largely consists of missiles and ammunition for missile, artillery, and air defense systems the U.S. previously provided to Ukraine. According to the Defense Department, the U.S. is committing $1.5 billion in new weapons and equipment through the Ukraine Security Assistance Initiative. Another $200 million worth of equipment is coming directly from the Defense Department's stockpiles via the Presidential Drawdown Authority. In a statement, the Defense Department says the U.S. will continue to work with its partners to ensure Ukraine has the capabilities it needs to fight Russia. And in North Carolina, a vigil was held Sunday for Sonia Massey, the woman who was fatally shot by an Illinois deputy earlier this month. The 36-year-old had called 911 for a suspected prowler incident, but video at the scene showed then Deputy Sean Grayson fatally shooting her. Grayson has since been fired from the sheriff's office and was indicted on several charges, including first-degree murder. The vigil was organized by Black Lives Matter Wilmington. Officials say they put it together to show their support for the Massey family. President Joe Biden has called on Congress to pass the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act, which focuses on preventing police misconduct. It passed the House but failed to get through the Senate. What started in Alabama is now spreading west, and it's a new way for gun owners to buy ammunition. The first ammo vending machine in Colorado goes online this week in a grocery store southwest of Denver. Robbie Pelta reports.
From Alabama, Oklahoma, Texas, and now Colorado, residents of rural towns may notice new distribution machines, which focus on providing more convenience to ammunition purchases, but lowers accessibility.
We saw that this was an opportunity to, improve the ammunition retail space and actually make it safer while maintaining the integrity of the Second Amendment.
Now, while these vending machines may resemble standard ones such as this, there is a very big difference between how you and I can purchase a soda than how you can purchase ammunition.
Yeah, I think there's been some misconception that we're just going to place these everywhere that a vending machine style product would go, right? That's not the case at all. We're not interested in putting them in every location.
As technology advances, Majors also wants the firearm industry to catch up.
There's a need within the entire industry to look at technology and try to apply it in a way to make the firearms market, the ammunition market, safer for the communities.
Safety precautions include a 21-year age requirement, ID verification, and secure locations. All of this to ensure responsible usage. In the end, the purpose of these new machines is threefold.
We care about law-abiding, responsible gun ownership. We want to maintain, integrity of the Second Amendment, and offer something of value to customers.
Let's send you live outside now again to the White House, Washington, D.C. After this short break, we'll have a look at your local forecast and more news coming up.
We'll give you a look at our Futurecast here. And Futurecast is actually looking pretty good, but notice every time that this stops, it's in an overnight hour. That's because that's when we're expecting the rain to fall the most across the island. So you see that we started out on Monday. This is Tuesday starting at 5 a.m. Here we go Wednesday at 6 a.m. And you notice those windward and Mauka showers. So expect that in the overnight and early morning hours as we go into the next 3 or 4 days, because real stable, nice weather. And then as we get later into the weekend, then it just becomes a whole lot of sunshine and not much in the way of rain. But we do need the rain. 7-day forecast ahead. East-northeasterly winds today, 15 to 20 mile per hour. Plus brisk trades, partly to mostly cloudy skies, depending on where you are. 87 degrees your daytime high. But next 4 or 5 days after that, really stable. The winds come down a little bit. It's drier conditions, so the leeward sides won't see any rain except for Kona in the afternoons. Most of it will be windward and Mauka light showers at best.
Thank you so much for that forecast. We look now to Northern California, where the park fire there is just 12% contained. It is currently the 6th largest wildfire in state history, so far scorching an area larger than Los Angeles. CBS's Jonathan Vigliotti has more.
Cooler temperatures this weekend gave fire crews a chance to gain ground on the massive park fire. California's largest wildfire this year is being fueled by windy weather and thick vegetation. It's devoured homes, buildings, and other structures across several counties.
Our area of concern is really all over this fire. I mean, with the erratic fire behavior that we've been having over the last couple days, it could do anything.
Part of the mountain town of Cohasset is destroyed. Pink fire retardant, an unwelcome bright spot among the burnt-out cars and homes.
I tried to outrun it.
It's also where Bruce Hay burned his arm while escaping the flames.
I wouldn't have got burned if I wouldn't have rolled down the window to look in the rearview mirror. I was right in the middle of it. I was trying to get it in reverse.
Hay and his brother-in-law are now being helped by a nonprofit in Butte County.
We kick into gear like right away.
Alyssa Hoffman is the founder of Tiny Pine Foundation.
We have diapers, we have wipes, we have hygiene, snacks, bottled water, first aid kits, we have all new clothes.
The National Interagency Fire Center says there are more than 100 fires burning in the U.S., with evacuation orders in effect for about 24 of them. Jonathan Vigliotti, CBS News, Chico, California.
Back here at home, hundreds of people marked Hawaiian Sovereignty Restoration Day, or Laho'iho'i'ea, at Thomas Square on Saturday. Back on July 31st, 1843, the British returned the Hawaiian kingdom after 5 months of occupation. Saturday's celebration of unity included cultural demonstrations and workshops about the future of Native Hawaiians.
So much of our education happens outside of our classrooms, and so this is really about having time to be with ohana, to be with family and friends, to have a place to talk story and to learn about the history unique to this place.
We need to teach the next generation of all of these things that we all kind of open up the path, us dinosaurs in the past, opening it up for them to understand and keep going forward.
Festivities continued into Sunday and wrapped up the two-day celebration. In today's news from the feeds, Miami's 60-story Paramount Miami World Center skyscraper has been lit up in honor of Team USA and NBC. The 2024 Olympics are now in high gear in Paris. In the U.S., the Games are being celebrated with the lighting of the world's tallest digital NBC Olympic peacock and the world's most enormous electronic Olympic torch. They appear at the 60-story Paramount skyscraper in downtown Miami. The 700-foot-tall superstructure is also glowing with the world's tallest official digital Olympic flag. The building also illuminates with a 300-foot-wide moving montage of Olympic athlete images representing the 32 sports played during the Games. The building's center column also gleams with the phrases 2024 Olympics, Go Team USA, and the traditional USA chant. About 10,500 Olympians from 206 countries are competing in Paris from now through August 11th. And now to the latest medal count, the winners so far in the 2024 Olympics. The United States is in the lead with the most medals overall with 20. Right now, Team USA has gained 3 gold, 8 silver, and 9 bronze medals. In a second place is France with 16 medals. Japan and China both have 12 medals, and Australia and South Korea have 9. The country with the most gold, however, is Japan with 6 medals. You can watch more of the live competition on KHNL. Hawaii News Now is your Olympic news station. Tune into our later newscasts for the latest out of Paris. And summer is roller coaster season in Minnesota. There's one up north that provides a different kind of experience. It's the Timber Twister, and it's fueled by pure gravity. John Lauriston has this story.
We love looking at the different seasons and how we excel in it.
When people think of Spirit Mountain in Duluth, they think downhill skiing. But that's not the only downhill thrill you'll find here.
The full name is the Timber Twister Alpine Coaster.
The Twister has been on Spirit Mountain for nearly 15 years. It's more than a half-mile long, and it takes about 7 minutes to reach the end.
In order to go forward, you push forward. In order to slow down, you pull back, and to stop, you really pull back.
Okay. You're in your own car, controlling your own speed, zipping through the beautiful Duluth hillside. From the very top to the very bottom is about 500 vertical feet. Unlike traditional roller coasters, there's no machine involved, just gravity. And instead of speeding through an amusement park, you're speeding through a forest with beautiful North Shore views along the way.
The thing that differentiates the coaster is the fact that you are actually attached to the rails. Amazing views, you're in control of it.
Once you get to the bottom, a conveyor belt brings you back to the top, and it moves slowly, so you get a more laid-back view compared to your trip down.
I think it's fun because you can go as fast as you want, and if you even want to go faster, you can lean into the corners and pump the rollers, and Yeah, it's fun. I really like the twisty tones things. It's just really fun.
And it draws a crowd. People have come from across the country just to say they rode the Twister. Visitors quickly learn that a day here is full of ups and downs.
The only one in Minnesota. Alpine coasters, they actually have a following that people will go around throughout the country to find other alpine coasters. Hey! It's a blast, and we love to welcome folks here.
Now that looks like so much fun, and it is definitely something I would ride. Let's end today with another live look outside, this time through the eyes of our tower camera, beautiful Honolulu. Have a great day.